Recently, the People's Democratic Party planned a primary elections in Osun State to produce a candidate for the forthcoming governorship elections in the state. But it turned out to be two primaries and not one, with parallel exercises held to produce two rival candidates. Each of the candidates is laying claim to being the authentic representative of the party. One of the factions produced Senator Ademola Adeleke, with Dotun Babayemi emerging on the platform of a rival faction. Who's right and who's not? As it is, court cases have been instituted and both factions are engaged in recriminations. However, party leaders are sparing no efforts in resolving the crisis so that the PDP will not go into the governorship elections slated for the 16th of July of this year, a divided house with the attendant consequence of risking a defeat. Joining us now to address key issues emerging from the intra-party wrangling in the Osun State chapter of the PDP is Dotun Babayemi, one of the rival governorship candidates. We'd like to thank you for joining the program this afternoon.
Good afternoon. I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you. Well, with the current situation as it is, two governorship candidates, two rivals, will you be going to court to seek redress?
So what happened, it's before looking forward, it's very important to look back just a step. What has happened? There are three things that govern party politics in Nigeria. The first one is the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The second is the Electoral Act, and before March, that was the 2010 Electoral Act. And the last piece is the party constitution. And PDP as a party is a party that focuses on ensuring that it observes the rule of law and respects it. So there were ward congresses last year, September 25 to be precise. And unfortunately, the leadership of our party at that time sold ward Congress forms to two different state chairmen. And that was the genesis of the problem. So parallel congresses were held in 215 of the 332 wards that make up Osun State. In October, one of the congresses, one of the people on the side of the congresses, the parallel congress, went to court to affirm that their congress was a valid one and they're the valid delegate. And the court gave judgment on the 22nd of November saying that all the activities that are taking place on that side were the legitimate one. And then on the 3rd of March, 5 days before our primaries, the Osun State Judiciary, in its infinite wisdom, gave an order that these ward executives on the 215 wards, that they are the valid delegates to the primaries. And the respondent to that suit that was instituted by them was our party, PDP, and INEC. So there was a valid court order instituted by these ward executives in Osun that they should be the right delegates. And an order was given to that effect on the 3rd of March. And the party was served on the 4th of March. INEC was also served. However, on the 8th of March, the PDP published in the Nigerian Tribune a list of delegates that were contrary to the court order. And those were the delegates that were at the stadium that voted for Senator Ademola Adeleke. And while the delegates that have been validated as the valid ones voted at the Ward Center, where there were 5 aspirants. And I won those primaries, and I am the candidate of the party by law. On the 10th of March, the court gave a further order that wherever those delegates voted is the valid primaries for Osun State gubernatorial election. And we are sure that INEC and even our party, as law-abiding citizens, will review these orders, will review the primaries that took place, and validate my candidacy.
Allow me to interrupt you briefly. Please let me interrupt you briefly. At the primaries conducted, in Osun State, yours precisely, the one where you emerged as the candidate, INEC was not represented. The leadership of the party was not represented. So what then authenticates your emergence as the governorship candidate?
Thank you very much. The electoral, and this is where the electoral law comes into being. The electoral law stipulates that INEC should be an observer at the primaries. The primaries that took place, our constitution stipulates that the primaries, where there's a primaries, it's a state congress. And the chairman, section 25 of the PDP constitution states that it's the state chairman that is the chairman of the state congress. And section 25(2)(c) specifically states that one of the functions of a state congress is to elect a gubernatorial aspirant. And all these were followed. In addition to that, INEC was invited and acknowledged the invitation to come to the primaries. So I believe that one or two people from INEC may have been in attendance. You have to remember that the INEC is not a participant at a state congress. INEC is an observer at the congress. And I believe that there was a resource from INEC there. In addition to that, what the electoral law states, the new electoral law that just came into being, is that the National Executive Council of the party will determine what date the gubernatorial primaries will be held. Now, Osun State has 7 members of NEC, either they are BOT members or the national officer. 6 out of the 7 members of the National Executive Council of our party were at the primaries where I was elected. The previous governor, Omoba Olagunsoye was there, his deputy was there, the chairman of the Elders Caucus of our party in the state was there, Senator Dr. Olu Alabi was there, Alhaji Shoaibu Oyedunku was there. The current national officer for Osun State was also present at the primaries.
But the deputy governor of Bayelsa State, the chief electoral officer of the party, was not there. Am I correct? Does that still,
That's
how much
correct.
of a difference does that make?
It was not there.
And he has,
yes,
he has
was
come
not
out
there.
to say,
however,
he has come out to say
Go
that
ahead.
anything that has not been supervised by him would have to be a nullity.
With due respect, His Excellency the Deputy Governor of Bayelsa State is a law-abiding citizen of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He is also a law-abiding citizen, and our party, as an entity, obeys the laws of the land. As it sits today, everything from beginning to the end, looking at it from the right perspective, which is the legal perspective. I have not gone to court. The people that have gone to court are the ward executives in 215 wards. And they've said that we are the ones that are entitled to elect the gubernatorial candidate. And the court has validated what they have done. So we will be moving from there. Our party and our elders are reviewing all the facts of the case, and a decision will be made. I want to reiterate that the PDP nationally and in Osun is one single family. And we will resolve these issues, and you can be rest assured that on July 16th, the PDP will win the gubernatorial election in Osun, and I will be the candidate of the party.
That was a very, optimistic statement. But some would say that there is a conflict going on in your party. And I'm wondering how that current crisis might impact how the electorate views your party in terms of voter confidence and what your chances might be come July.
Oh, thank you. Osun is a PDP state. Has been since inception. of the state. And the last governorship person that we had in the state was Governor Oyinlola 12 years ago. For 12 years, if you look at the electoral records, for 12 years, people have been yearning for our party to come take over the state. And we intend to do that come July 16th.
Now, most of the governorship aspirants withdrew from the primary elections at the last minute. Are you perhaps working with any one of them, to claim your mandate, considering the fact that Senator Adeleke seems to have the backing of the National Working Committee?
Thank you. So if you look at the primaries where I was elected as a gubernatorial candidate, Alhaji Akinbade, who was a previous state party chairman, is a gubernatorial aspirant. He was a gubernatorial aspirant, did not withdraw. He actually attended the primaries. And he voted there and he was voted for. Also, Mr. Ademola Adeleke was also present at the primaries. And he voted and he was voted for. So there were 3 of the aspirants that attended the primaries. 2 of the others sent delegates to represent them. So out of the 6 aspirants that paid to govern Osun State within our party, 5 of them either were present in person at the primaries or they had representatives there.
You have described the fact that some factions are going to go to court. You personally have not taken that step, but judicial misconduct, impertinence, and abuse of power are some of the accusations that are being leveled at the Justice of the Osun State High Court. Now, how confident are you that if you did take this to court, you would get the backing that you wanted, seeing as Senator Adeleke seems to be the overwhelming favorite, for lack of a better word?
I will disagree with what you've said about Senator Ademola Adeleke being the overwhelming favorite. We are a party that is fully on ground, and we have the people behind us. There were 3,000 party members, party executives at the primaries that elected me as the candidate of the party. So that's the first thing. The second thing is their internal mechanisms. So as we speak today, our party, the National Executive Committee of our party, is meeting. And one of the things that they will be reviewing is the situation in Osun. Osun is the last major election before we go to the national elections. And it's something that our party takes very seriously. So the NEC, being the highest body, save the convention, will review what is happening and they will come to a resolution, and we expect that that resolution will be in our favor. So the elders of our party are still working day and night to ensure that we continue to be seen as a party of the people, for the people, and we obey the laws of the land.
Well, Mr. Dotun Babayemi, thank you so much for joining us on Newsday, and thank you for your insight.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being here. Thank you very much.